Bait and switch. You thought this was a video of a cute dog, but it's actually a video of a weird-looking preacher. I wanted to share a insight. I hope it's an insight. It might just be stupid. But I think I saw something about the apocalypse yesterday. Do you like all these little breaks? I'm doing this weird editing thing to try to spice it up. Yesterday at my church, we did a disability, visibility, awareness type Sunday where everything was kind of focused on the weak and the vulnerable and the marginalized, specifically those with disabilities of any sort, and asking how we can see them better, how we can serve them better, how we can be more open and welcoming and inviting to this underserved community. We were using the metaphor of a table a lot, talking about the church and the kingdom of God, and saying that the kingdom of God is this table, and we're supposed to look around and notice who's not there and ask why. My friend Rob Olszewski was co-preaching with me on John 9 and Luke 14, and he had this really cool point, and I want to share it with you, and then I'm going to elaborate. Here's the dog again, just to reward you for sticking around. Waggle tail. In John 9, which Rob was preaching on, Jesus and his disciples come upon a man who has been blind his entire life, blind from birth. And this encounter, it's a famous encounter, right? The disciples are going to ask the question, Master, Rabbi, Teacher, Jesus, why is this man blind? Whose fault is it? Did he sin? Or was it his parents that sinned that brought this affliction on him? Because that was the general understanding of the day and how these things worked. But that's not actually the start of the interaction. Because they're walking down the road, and Jesus sees the man. And it's Jesus perceiving, it's Jesus turning, it's Jesus looking, it's Jesus' vision that initiates the engagement, the interaction, which eventually will end with the man's healing, but that's not the point of our story today. And so the disciples don't look at him, they don't notice him, they don't interact with him, they don't talk to him or about him until Jesus stops and looks. And when they ask, why was this man born blind? Who sinned, him or his parents? Jesus says, neither. No one sinned to cause this affliction, but the purpose of the story here, the purpose of this man's life is to reveal the glory of God. Back to the apocalypse. Apocalypse, big scary word, but let's use it as a seminary word for a second. Apocalypse is a genre. It's a type of writing or thinking or speaking, mostly writing. In the Bible, we find it in the Old Testament, we find it in the New Testament. Sometimes whole books are apocalypses. Sometimes there's little apocalypses embedded in stories. And an apocalypse is any time that God sort of zooms out and pulls back the curtain so that we can see things from God's perspective. Anytime the curtain is pulled back, the veil is lifted, and we can see things as they really are, from the divine perspective, in their cosmic sense, in their eternal sense, the hyper reality of what's going on, the God reality of what's going on. When we're allowed to see that, it's an apocalypse. I think this interaction in John 9, I think it's an apocalypse. The disciples are looking at something, and they're only seeing the material, the physical, the flesh, the mortal, the tangible of it. They look at this human, and they ask, what's wrong with him, and whose fault is it? But Jesus sees the man, and he pulls back the curtain. He says, this is a human being created in the image of God, with dignity and value and worth, and his purpose, the most important thing about him, is not some nebulous sin that he or his parents might have committed in the past. It's not his affliction. It's not his blindness. It's not his physical state. The most important thing about him is that by being a human being created in the image of God of infinite worth, he reveals the glory of God. Jesus offers us apocalyptic vision. That's a fun phrase. I think that's right, though. Jesus offers us apocalyptic vision. Jesus gives us kingdom eyes, kingdom vision. He invites us to see past reality into hyper reality. Jesus invites us to see from Christ's perspective, to see the world as God sees it, to see situations as the Spirit sees it, to see humans, all people, all of our neighbors, the way that Christ does, being of infinite worth, infinite value, deserving of sacredness and dignity and honor and respect, to be the subject of our love and service. That's a pretty good apocalypse. Grace and peace, y'all. Woohoo! There's the dog again! Yeah! Oh, yeah, you go, pup. Oh, yeah.